Alright, Wayne DeFrancesco here, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you check out my website, WayneDeFrancesco.com, and if you're at the website, welcome to the website. You probably recognize this guy. Just lit it up this week down in Charlotte. Shot himself a little 62 in the Sunday round. So we're going to look at his swing today, Rory McIlroy. So the first thing you notice is the fluidness and the freedom in this swing. So if you think about some of the swing theories that have been running around over the last couple of years, the arms have been getting closer into the body and everything has been getting more restricted. You know, here's a nice, free, flowing, athletic swing. And I think this is where the young guys are learning how to hit the ball so far. He's not a big kid. He's averaging over 300 yards. So let's take a look at some of the lines. So we got a nice camera angle here right on the hands. He looks like he's probably hitting a fairly straight shot. Maybe fractionally trying to drop it in from left to right, but not much. So we got a good view here. So let's take a look through the standard lines, and then we got the club going back just right on the shaft plane, but maybe a nudge above it. So if anything, he's just extending it away from his body, just a hair. You'll see that the right cheek gets a little bit behind the line, which I kind of like. It's just getting his right hip a little deeper. And if you watch the head, it's pretty obvious what's happening here. There's the first lowering, and then there's the big drop. So if you look at my other videos, doesn't matter who it is, if it's Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, all the guys are more or less going down in the backswing and down again in the forward swing. So why are they doing that? I like to view it as, instead of loading the body to the right, load the body into the ground. And you'll see it when we look at him from the front view over here. Now it's a little off angle, but the camera is a still camera. So no, this isn't a handheld camera. This is perfectly still. So when we watch this one, if we watch we can generally watch the head and the movement of the hips, you'll see that his head only moves backwards a fraction, maybe an inch or less. The hip movement is fairly interesting. You can see it's still in the box, but when I show you another interesting angle that they took from lower and closer to him on the last hole, you'll see an interesting movement with the hips. So here's the forceful drive off the ground. You can see that the forward motion starts just before the club reaches full, which is the sequence that all the good players use. But you can see the head is really solidly in the box, and the hips have probably moved, that good 4 or 5 inches forward. Now, another interesting thing, as Rory hits the ball, both legs will straighten. Left leg just after impact, and the right leg really pulls up. Now, since he gets his hips so open so soon, and he snaps his leg, there's a look there, just a hair, where it looks like his hips might hesitate. They just don't really have anywhere to go. They wait for the arms to catch up just a hair, and then they keep going around. So again, up the shaft plane. So if we look at the progression here, we're going to go from where we started at 57, and we're going to go up to 66, and then at the top 68. So 9 and 2, that's 11. That's a standard pretty much of a standard amount of elevation. You'll see Tiger has pretty much the same type of numbers in the backswing, and it's a similar look to the left arm. The right arm is a little freer maybe, and then he starts down. There's the drop. Now, the interesting thing about the start down move, see how the knees, and this is sort of unlike what a lot of good players do, his knees will come out from under him forward, but there's a lot of, so much rotation in there, there's a lot of twisting in there. Now watch the right leg recover and suck back and push his butt fully back into the box. So kind of an interesting way to move the legs. Now, as a result of that, you can see it. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is if you watch the hands at the top, watch where the butt of the club goes. It's going to drop behind that top line, and when it passes by, it's actually going to go by to the inside of that pass-by point. So his hands probably came by here. So certainly the arms are falling back. And if you get your knees under you and your arms fall back, your right arm is going to be somewhat behind your back. So you can see his right arm is here. Now, it appears that his forearm is a little bit high there, but if you consider the shaft angle at address, I mean, if you look at Tiger or Sergio, their shaft angle would be up another 3 degrees or so. And if I draw the thing with a shaft angle that's a little higher than that, so let's say he raised his hands up a hair at address, watch how this thing comes down from there. It's perfect. It's just right on it. The forearm, the shaft, and then on through. Now, the thing I wanted to look at here, and this is what I've done to me. Here we go. So, if we watch the leg movement on the way back. Watch the left knee. You see it? It's pulling backwards. It's going counter rotation to start the swing. He's actually turning his hips to the left, and then he'll pull it back. Now, as he does this, there's a slight slide to the right. Now, what this does is sort of locks the hips in momentarily. It allows him to begin to coil his upper body against his hips, keeps the right arm above the left, and it just sort of keeps him from sucking the club too far behind him. So it's a little bit of a start to a restrictive hip move. And after I was watching this for a little while, I was actually looking at my own swing and watching myself suck the club behind me and cross it at the top. And I'm like, I'm going to go out and try that a little bit. And it's very interesting how it keeps the upper body angled out over the ball, and it doesn't really allow the club to pull back behind you. So I thought that was a pretty cool looking move. Now, also from here you can see that there's a lot of compression into the ground. You'll see the knees both go forward, but as they go forward, they really twist super hard. And you can see the footwork there. So even though the knees went forward, he never really lost. Look at that right foot. The heel is still down as he hits the ball. So you got to think, he hit it right there. Look at his hips. They have to be 70 degrees open. And that's the kind of thing that I really like. So the interesting thing here is how the right arm trails a little bit, but the left wrist bends down great, and the hand action is good. And boy, he just hit the ball great. So there he is, Rory McIlroy, very interesting golf swinging, and great future.